So, and I'll post it to the assignment. Okay. So I've taken my paper and it's a half sheet and it's about the size of my hand. Now, I hope y'all can see this. Well, let's see. Is that viewpoint a little bit better? Now, you can draw this with a pencil, but I'm going to draw this with a marker so that you can see, because when I draw with a pencil, then y'all can't see it very well. What we're going to make, I should tell you what we're going to make. We are going to start to practice optical illusions, because that is what our unit is this quarter, is optical illusions, color, and value. And so this is just a practice, and you can see that all of these are using the same techniques, but they all look very, very different. And I have for you a step-by-step chart that shows you each step in the assignment of how to create these. So the first thing that you need to do is draw an odd number, like 7 to 11 lines. And let me show you what I mean by that. So I draw one line, and we want them to be kind of like tubes or thicker lines. So I draw that, and that's 1, right? And you want to do this 7 to 11 times. You see how this is overlapping in the background? Now, when you do this, it can be any direction. I kept all of mine the same thickness for this drawing, but for this time, just to practice, I'm going to try them in different thicknesses. So then I'm going to come here, but this is where it changes. I start to draw this line. When I hit another line, I stop. Then I start it again on the opposite side, and I make sure my lines go from edge to edge. Hey, Rhonda. This is what we're doing. We just started it. We're going to be doing optical illusion practice. So we're drawing our lines, and I've taken a full sheet of paper and I've folded it in half. And remember, you can keep all of your lines the same thickness. It's okay. It's all right. But this time I'm going to change, on this optical illusion, I'm going to change them a little bit. But it is important that when you hit that line, that you stop and start it on the other line, because it's going to make this line look like it's overlapping that one. You don't want the lines to go through one another. You want them to overlap. So that's 2. Let's see. I'm going to do, here's a third one. And remember, I'm changing the sizes of my lines just to make it a little bit different. But then here, they were all the same thickness. So let me know when you have that done. And hello, Shreyas, welcome to class. I'm glad you were able to join us today. So I hit that line, I stop. I hit that line, I stop. I hit that line, and I stop. And I could make these all the same thicknesses, or I could change them. When you hit the line, stop. Hit the line, stop. The line, stop. And make sure they go from edge to edge. So I'm hoping the raised hands means that you're ready. If you have a question, you can come off mute or put it into the chat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Of course. You mean, do you have to draw the lines in the exact spot that I am? I'm sorry. Taylor, can you say, I'm turning my volume up. Did you say yes? Can you draw the lines in your own way?
Yes.
Yes, of course. I do not want for you to copy exactly what I am drawing. I want for you to do it in your own way. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to add another one. So yes, I do want for you to make this your own. You don't have to draw exactly what I'm drawing. Just remember, when it hits a line, to stop. Now, if you're drawing in pencil and you accidentally draw over a line, you can just erase it. You will see, thanks, Ocean. You will see in my example that there is one area that I made a mistake in on my chart where I overlapped it one time. which was right here in my example, but you can't really tell on your final. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I always get lost at this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I need one more. And yeah, Ocean, I actually like this one better because the lines are different thicknesses. It looks like they're going back in space, you know, it looks like there's more depth in my work. I like that. This is a very easy, simple thing to draw once you get the technique. So I have 3 people that are ready to go with this. And so once I know you're ready, just raise your hand. So a thumbs up in the camera or say ready in the chat. And then that way I know you're ready for this next stage. And I'm glad you like it because we will be using like optical illusions this whole quarter. Good. Here, let me move this closer. There. Okay. Excellent. So I've heard from almost everybody. So now you're going to add your shapes. I used circles. Good. Now I have almost everybody. So I use circles for mine, but you don't have to use circles. I had somebody in another class that did like bubble letters. You're going to draw 7 to 11 lines, Erin. I drew 7. I think on my examples, my other example, I drew 9. So just 7 to 11, whatever works for you. In fact, it looks like I might want to add one more here. Looks kind of empty. So for your shapes, you are going to do an odd number of shapes. And odd numbers work better. They show more movement. They show more depth in a work of art. So I like to do odd numbers. And I had a class ask me why, and it's because it shows more depth. It creates more movement. So you see, I have 1, 2, 3 circles. And I have them in different sizes. Whereas this one, I did 4. I did an even number, and it kind of creates like this box. It doesn't have as much movement. It doesn't really activate the edge. This one, I did my circles the same size, but then I wanted more variety, so I added 2 more circles. And then this one, I just did a simple 3. It's your choice. You do not have to do circles. You could draw bubble letters. You could draw squares. You could draw diamonds. You can draw whatever you want. You should have something activate that edge because it just looks, it creates more depth. This is where it's different. This time, you do overlap. So my circle's there, and I do overlap that. And I'll do, let's see. Trying to find something I like. So draw in an odd number. You can do 3 to 5, unless they're small, you know, and then you can do smaller ones, whatever you want there. So I have 3 there, but this space over here looks kind of empty. So I'm gonna add 1 here. And then to balance, do you see how I'm trying to balance my pieces? The shapes that I have, I'll put 1 here. So there I go. There are my 5 shapes. And I've had people spell out their name. I've had people do a variety of shapes. Your choice. But these lines do overlap. So start with that. And an odd number. Like 3 or 5. You could do 7. I mean, just make sure it's an odd number. And then let me know when you're ready with that, and I'll show you the next parts. I hope everybody can still hear me. Josh, did I ever unfreeze for you? I am so sorry. I don't know why.
Oh,
I don't know why, but I'm still good for everybody else. I hope so. Okay, good. So I have 3 people that are ready. All right, 4, thank you. 5, we're getting more. 6, 7. We're just missing a few. Kelsey, I am frozen for you. Or yes, you're ready. If I'm frozen and you need to exit and come back in, that's fine. So it looks like almost everybody's ready. So now we're gonna go for the next. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Kelsey. I really wish I could change your name in the Microsoft Teams. I wish I had that power for you. I'm sorry that happened. So now we're going to add color. And this is where, I know, I have another student in another class in the exact same situation. So this right here is where we come in with our color wheel that we did yesterday. You have your warm colors, which are your reds, orange, and yellows, and then your cool colors, which are your greens, blues, and purples. You need to decide how you want the optical illusion to look. If you use a warm color, red, orange, or yellow, then the shape that you color in or fill in with those warm colors is going to project or pop up. And so it's going to pop up towards the foreground. It's going to come to the front. If you use a cool color, green, blue, or purple, then it will recede or go back into the background. So what I did on this one is in my background, I colored it purple so that it would recede. And then my lines that were in the background, I did all cool colors. But everything inside of my shapes, I colored in a warm color so that they would project or rise forward to the foreground. But you can see on this one, right, I did my background yellow. So instead of, imagine my drawing is like this. By coloring the background yellow, instead of the background being, whoops, you can't see my finger. Instead of the background being here, I've put the background here. I've brought it forward more to like that middle ground. And these green pieces here, even though they're in the foreground and raising up top, they should be floating. Because I colored it a cool color, I moved them more down to the middle ground. So that's how you can use that color to contrast. Now, I do not have black in my pictures. But if you choose to use black, gray, white, like a neutral color like this one, that keeps it in that middle ground. So I hope what I'm saying made sense. If you use a warm color, it's going to bring it forward. It's going to bring it to the front. If you use a cool color, it's going to bring it to the back or to the background. And if you use a neutral, like gray, black, white, brown, it'll keep it in that middle ground. Does that make sense? I hope so. When we are in person, I give you a set of 3D glasses and you put them on and you can look at the artwork and see what I mean about the red projecting and the blue receding. Any work of art, if you put 3D glasses on it, you will see how those colors pop up. So now, pick your colors. You can use any colors you want and fill them in. You can use color pencils, you can use crayons, you can use markers. It is entirely your choice. I think I'm going to use, you know what, I'm going to use color sticks because I have color pencils, but I keep having to sharpen them. So start on your color. my color sticks are not where they're supposed to be, so I'm just going to use color pencils. Now, it's up to you. You can fill in this color however you would like. Oh, huh. You're exactly right. I didn't even notice that. But yes, you can see, that's a really cool observation. You see how it is. They're overlapping these lines, and you can see how this one, even though in space that one is physically behind there, this one looks like it's closer up. See how that one looks like it's coming down at an angle like that because it's in a warm color. And this one looks like it's kind of bent or rounded because it goes from warm to cool. Wow, that's really cool. I didn't even notice that. Very curious as to where my coloring sticks went. So if you look, I've done this different ways. On these, I made sure that all my background was the same, but it can be any way that you would like. For this one, I made sure all my circles were the same. See how I kept them all the same for this one? But for this one, when that line hit my shape, I changed the color. There's not going to be a wrong way for you to do this. And of course, this is just practice. So I want this to look like it's deeper in space. So I'm going to fill in my background with my cool color. And you can press lightly, you can do it solid. It's your choice. Okay. And let me know when you're ready with, like when you filled in your background. I have shared this assignment with you already in Canvas. It will be in the weekly calendar for next week because the due date isn't until December 13th. You have plenty of time to complete this. Oh, thank you. So, one, it takes lots of practice. And two, I never try to color a section that's larger than an inch at a time. You know how when you fill something in, you want to go quick, and you go like this, you lose making sure that that's solid. You miss some spots, and then it becomes like all this white streaky spots. So I try to keep all of my color application to no more than an inch. This assignment is called Op Art Practice. That's a good question. Yeah. It's called Op Art Practice. And I have the examples that I showed you earlier already shared there, and I'll post this video to it. What I'm going to do next class while y'all are adding your color is this is what I'm going to teach you how to draw next class. We're going to move into these next class. I'm going to show you how to do those. So next class, I'll just be using a marker, paper, and my ruler. But again, you can do the next one digitally as well. Now, when I am adding my color, or when I'm done adding my color, oh, good. Thank you, Ocean. I hope yours does too. Whoops. This is why I don't like using the color pencils. Ooh, that's going to be nice. It's going to be nice. And also with this Op Art assignment, if there's something that you want to know, like an optical illusion that you want to know how to draw, since that's what we're going to be focusing on, send it, put it in the chat or send it to me in email. I will tell you the ones I'm teaching you are these while y'all were adding color. I'm going to teach you how to do this one, which is like a 3D box or cube. This is one of my favorites. The faceted. And then, of course, the tunnel one that you have. A sphere. Let's see. The diamonds. A honeycomb. I like this one. This kind of a sphere. Let's see. The diagonal. This is where we start. Oh, this is another faceted. See these? This is the exact same technique, but they're done just by rotating the paper. No, they are not hard to do at all. And I drew all of these by hand, right? So even if you don't have a straight edge, I drew them all by hand. And I will also tell you, like, just send me a picture if you find one that you really like. In the assignment, we're only going to do 4 in class, but I've shown you how to do 8. And it's like I show my picture, and then I have a 5 to 10 minute video beside it on how to draw it of each one. I had another one. Oh, the impossible triangle. I'm going to teach you how to do the impossible triangle. The pit or the pyramid, I'm going to teach you how to do that one too. So, but if there's a specific one that you want, just let me know, and I'll show you how to do that. Yeah. I'm probably not going to finish this in class today, but that's okay, because I have until December 13th to finish this. Right. And even if you're not sure about the colors and making sure that one projects and one recedes, one goes to the foreground, one goes to the background, even if you're not sure about that, you're still going to have a really nice looking picture. So yes, I can. Thank you, Erin. That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. All right, so I'm going to show one line and then the circle. Now, I want my lines to project and my circles to kind of be in the middle. So I'm going to do my lines a warm color, and then my spheres or my circles, I'm either going to do a neutral, like a gray, black, or white, or do you remember this inner circle right here that we did where we talked about intensity? If you use a color and you add a dull color to it, it also brings it to that middle ground. It keeps it right in the middle of your artwork. So I could mix, like do a warm or a cool color with gray inside. And here I'm gonna put this. Yes, I can show you that one. In fact, I did draw that one. And that's the one that I don't have, like, oh, it's in my 8th grade one. The one that I shared today with my classes is very close to that one. Let's see. All of my drawings get put. So I'm going to show you the impossible triangle, and then I show you this one, which is the one step before the one you shared, Shreyas. I lost my chat. And then I will show you that one that you did right there. Yes, and shading is key, because you see everywhere it overlaps, it's going to shade. So I'm going to start on this one right here, and I'm going to draw it orange, because orange and blue are complementary. And then I'm going to shade it in. So everywhere where a line overlaps or touches, that's where you're going to have that value or that shading. So right here, I'm only going to do this section just so you can see. And you can do your shading and your value by having it go light to dark like this, like the layers when we learned about your value key scales last time. Or you can show your shading and your value by adding that black or that gray to it. So here's this orange one. And again, these are called optical illusions. This is just the beginning practice. And once you see the techniques, you're like, oh, that is so much easier to do than I thought. Right. So this sphere is right here, and it's overlapping. And this one right here is overlapping. And so now I can either take my black color pencil, my gray color pencil. You can shade this one with brown. Remember, there are lots of different ways. Because this overlaps with this, I put my value or my shading there because it's going to have that cast shadow. So that will pop. Because this overlaps with that, I'm going to put my value or my shading here. And it follows that pattern for the whole thing. Right. And you're right, Taylor. I'm so glad you brought that up. You're exactly right. That overlaps there, so I'll put that there. That overlaps here, so I'll put this cast shadow here. Just like how we learned the value for our last unit. That's the same thing. And then this one, and I could make it a different color, but since I have orange right here, I'm going to do orange here. This overlaps that, so I'm going to put value here. See? See how that works? Okay, Erin, that's a very good question. So digitally, you can shade. If you get a black or a gray, and yes, I'm going to say that too, Taylor. You are so ahead. You can get a black or a gray color and change the transparency to like 50%. And it will add that gradient. It will add the shade over top of it. But the transparency has to be changed. Or you could do it just like a solid, harsh outline. I mean, like a solid, harsh shadow, and that will work too. And like Taylor said, couldn't you use another color? So this is the background of another one that I've done where I did like a blue green color. And I used purple to shade that in to make it darker. So in fact, I'm going to do that here. Your background can stay solid if you want, but since Taylor has brought it up because she's an art superstar, yes, of course you can. You can use any color you want. Yes, you can use any color you want. I'm going to use purple to make this color darker here. Since this overlaps with this one, I'm going to use purple everywhere it touches. So you see how that's everywhere it touches there? And I'm following the contour of that shape because I'm imagining that there's this light source over top. And so everywhere where they touch or overlap is going to be darker. Like you can see, I used the purple there. And then in the center part, that means that's going to be lighter. Thank you so much, Shreyas, for writing those instructions down. I appreciate that. So here, I've made that lighter. And I can even add a white in here in the middle. And it'll make my background, just like we did with our spheres for our very first project. See how that's going? And instead of using black here, because on this color wheel, I can shade orange with blue, because see, when they meet, they make gray. So orange and blue, I could shade with that. I could shade it with red. Okay. That's good, Marcus. Yeah. I don't expect, most of my other classes did this in 2 class periods. If you would like for me to stop here today and not finish this after class and finish it with you, I can do that, and we can finish that on Tuesday of next week. Otherwise, I'm going to finish this after class and start to show you how to do the other optical illusions on Tuesday. So y'all just have to let me know your preference. Yeah. If I have heard from you and you are ready to go, let's see, then you can go ahead and be dismissed. I just need to know before y'all go, is it okay for me to finish this after class, or you want to do it with me? All right, so then we will continue this on Tuesday of next week, which is fine. I have no problem continuing and working on this with y'all. And we'll finish this. So I'll stop it here, and then I'll finish it with y'all on Tuesday. I am going to go ahead and color my background in blue, but I'm not going to do any more shading. Is that okay? Y'all don't need to see me color in the orange and the blue. You just need for me to see the shading, correct? Yes, of course you can, Taylor. Of course you can.